welcome back to the Dope Student Podcast.
Hi, my name is Tyler,
Hi, my name is Ivana.
and welcome to the Dope Student Podcast. Who do we have here today?
Melvin from LNF Construction.
Okay, we're going to be asking you some questions. Today's guest is living proof that you can build something great from absolutely nothing. We're excited to welcome Melvin Trappier, a skilled general contractor who learned the game from his father and has been mastering it ever since. For Melvin, construction isn't just a job, it's therapy. Through years of hard work, mistakes, and lessons learned, he's built more than just homes. He's built character. Today, he's here to share wisdom, real talk, and encourage the next generation to never give up, even when it gets hard. Let's get into it. Let's start with the beginning. How did your father introduce you to the world of contracting?
So my father was a contractor. He had a regular 9 to 5, but he also was a maintenance technician for many years. Same thing with my uncle. I had two uncles. One was a general contractor, and one was he was a foreman. They built bridges in New York. So summertime I would go out there. I learned a lot from him as far as concrete. My father, he was a jack of all trades. You know, he did carpentry, electrical, drywall. He did everything. So as a kid growing up, I used to watch him and ask a bunch of questions, and that's pretty much how I learned it.
You mentioned construction is your therapy. What do you mean by that? How does the work help you mentally and emotionally?
So if I'm not in a clear mental space, I can't produce at my maximum potential. So I have to make sure that everything, for the most part, what I can control in my life is in a good, peaceful space. And it's just therapy for me for the times that, I'm depressed or, I'm going through anything. A lot of us coming from the urban societies in which we come from, we suffer from a lot of trauma from the things that we see. So construction for me is my therapy. It's how I get away from it all.
What were some of the biggest mistakes you made early on, and what did you learn from them?
One of the biggest mistakes.
Yes.
It would have to be. So I was doing a service line for a friend, 100 amp service line, and in the midst of me, I'm rushing. I'm not really paying attention, and I didn't have any safety gear on as I should have. As I'm running the line through the meter coming off the pole, now mind you, I already had connected it at the pole, which wasn't a smart idea, but I was young. I was young at that time. When I'm running it through the meter box, it touched, and that arc flash, it blinded me like for a couple of days. Like my sight was messed up. But it could have hurt me even badder than that. So but I've made many mistakes. I've made many mistakes. Some mistakes costly, some not. But you can't let the mistakes discourage you, because that's where all the jewels are at. That's where all the lessons are at. The more mistakes you make, if you learn from them, you pay attention to them, that's how you reach greatness. Nobody, I don't care, how they started, where they graduated from. Nobody is just going to be a great contractor and not make any mistakes. The mistakes are where the lessons are at.
Yeah.
What's one thing you wish you had known when you first started as a general contractor?
That's a good one. All money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. To know your worth, to value yourself, and just don't be thirsty for the money. Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest.
Building in business can be tough. What advice do you give for young people about the money side of the trades?
It kind of ties into what I just said. You can't just take on every job just because you need the money. So it's like you gotta I go off of how I feel, what I get from you. You can't fake energy. So I try to read a person when I meet them, and I try to, go off of that.
What drives you to keep going even when the job gets hard or overwhelming?
What drives me to keep going even when the job gets, tired or overwhelming? I just can't quit at it. Quitting, giving up is not going to get me where I'm trying to go. I have a goal, and I'm gonna accomplish it. So, I failed at it, 2 or 3 times. Lost vehicles, lost tools, lost contracts. You can't allow those things to discourage you. You got to keep moving. You got to keep going. Never ever give up. If this is your passion, this is what you want to do, you'll never give up.
Why is problem solving such a big part of construction world, and how can students get better at it?
Problem solving. Why is it so important? So, for us, we'll go to school, we'll learn, the trade, and it's not so much just book knowledge, it's hands-on. And a lot of the problems that you face with being a contractor is really just boils down to the amount of knowledge and experience that you have, and it's really just problem solving.
You've worked with students before. What impressed you most about them?
What I love about students is never lose that zeal, that desire that you had from the beginning. Never lose that. I love that about people that's learning and they're new at it. Is that when they're passionate about it.
You say you started with nothing. What helped you push through and build something from that?
Probably one of the biggest things I believe is, one, I wanted to, make my parents proud because, I was a knucklehead when I was younger. And just trying to leave a better impression on the world, trying to change the generational, curses that, exist within society.
What advice do you have for students who are thinking about a career in the trade but don't know where to start?
Just start.
You gotta start from somewhere.
You got to start from somewhere. Yeah, just start.
If you could send one message to every young person in Philly, what would it be?
And that's a deep one. If I could send one message to every kid in Philly, what would it be? You were supposed to brief me on that question before you asked it because, man, that is
Just something from the bottom of your heart that you wish somebody told you before starting.
The world isn't always what it seems from the societies in which we come from. And we all suffer from trauma. We all suffer from the things that, we go through growing up, the things that we see, but we can't allow that to dictate our future. And we can't, how can I articulate this, man? That's a great question. We can't allow those things to keep us stagnant or allow those things to make us succumb to the social norms. And you just got to keep pushing.
Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Dope Student Podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Dope Student Podcast.